I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 159, Is Anger Holding You Back? Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to another episode. Before I dive into the content of today, I want to let you know, for those of you that are listening to this in the first day or two of when this podcast is broadcast, which is going to be on October 11th, I want to let you know that you will want to be joining my program. If you've been sitting on the fence, if you've been thinking about it, next week I'm hosting my first virtual retreat. It's going to be all online from the comfort of your home. We're going to spend the day together. I will be doing some training. We will be doing some workshopping. It is going to be deep. It is going to be restorative and healing and connecting. I'm bringing in experts on different topics that are going to be teaching you some things that are going to help you. If you have been looking at this, now is the time. It's going to be amazing. And I want to just say and own that the content of that day, that just the shifts that you will feel in one day will set you up for the year inside my program and make the cost of the entire program worth it in one day. Okay, that's my promise to you. It's going to be really, really powerful. So if you are listening to this, you want to get into that before next week. Okay. For those of you who listen after the event happened, what I will tell you is that every call that I do is recorded, and you can go, when you join, you can go back and watch all of it. You can go back and watch all of the events from that day. But I'm just letting you know that there's something really powerful about being live there, feeling the energy in the room of everybody else. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the topic today, anger. I wanted to spend this episode talking about anger because it's something that comes up all the time in my coaching. People talk about being so angry, and they want to understand why they feel angry. They want to stop feeling so angry. And so today, this episode is all about anger. And as the title suggests, I want you to think about if it's holding you back, if it's keeping you stuck, okay? Why? Let's dive in. Anger is an emotion that is not black and white. Okay, sometimes we feel anger for reasons that are really, really useful. Sometimes we feel anger for reasons that are not. And the intention behind this episode is for you to be able to have this resource to sit down and think about yourself, your own anger, kind of self-diagnose, if you will, based on the things that I teach you today, so that you can then look at yourself and decide what you want to do with your anger. Okay? All right. First, I want to talk about when anger can be useful. Sometimes we feel angry when a boundary has been violated. So for example, if we're walking down the street and somebody grabs at us or says something inappropriate, does something inappropriate, or if somebody breaks into our home or breaks into our car, not only will it feel intrusive, but we will likely feel angry. Why? We will feel angry because a boundary has been crossed. It's our body's way of saying, no, this is not okay. No, this is not okay. Now, sometimes we have situations where we try to mute our own anger, where we try to shove it down, where we try to ignore it, where we try to minimize it and make it our problem. Like there's something wrong with me that I feel so angry. This can happen when you have a situation when you're in your family or your marriage or with children where you might feel like you continue to give and give and give, and there's not a lot being given back to you. Sometimes that can be angering. That can be a signal, hey, this is not working for me. This is not a fair trade. I need to see more. Okay, that anger can be coming up to show you it's your body's way of letting you know that this is not working for you, that there's some kind of injustice, that there's some kind of thing that needs some reworking. It can be a boundary thing where your body, the wisdom in your body. In this context right now, when I say your body, I'm not talking about your emotional self. Okay, our emotional self. I'm talking about like our wise body, our wise soul. Anger is what you're feeling in your emotional self. But if there's a message that's there, that's something that is for your good, for you to listen to help you move forward, that's coming from your wise self that is true, that speaks truth, okay? So the anger I'm talking about here is when there has been a boundary violated, when there has been something that is not working and your wise body is saying, pay attention, pay attention. Do not look away from this. Pay attention. And the anger is there as a smoke signal to say, please pay attention. Okay. Another time anger can show up that can be really useful is it's not so much about a boundary violation as much as it is recognizing that there is something that needs to be dealt with. Okay. Something that needs to be looked at, something that needs to be dealt with. For example, anger may be rearing its head when somebody continues to skirt the issue. Like a situation I see all the time with my clients is at the beginning, their spouse is all on board and talking it out and, oh, I'm sorry. And I'll tell you what you need to hear and I'll be here and I'll comfort you. And then it goes away and they don't want to talk about it anymore. They want it to be over. They think it should be done. And then sometimes my clients are dealing with anger from their spouse. And this in turn leads them to feeling angry themselves. Like, what the heck? Like, why is it now off the table? Like, this is hardly over, right? I live with this every single day. And so the anger can be there as a persistent reminder to dig in deeper, to fight for truth, to stand up for truth, to make sure that the conversation is still happening, to make sure that no one's just walking away, sweeping it under the rug. Okay. Now, sometimes anger masquerades as other emotions. Sometimes there are other emotions just under the surface. One of them is resentment. Sometimes anger and resentment can feel very similar. As a reminder, one of the reasons resentment shows up is when we are doing for others what they can do for themselves. When we are letting others off the hook for things that they are perfectly capable of doing. So where this can come up, it might feel like anger. I want you to look and see if there's some resentment there too. This is for my people listening who are totally taking the lead in the restoration of the marriage or of the relationship. You're the one like, okay, we need to listen to this podcast. We need to go to this therapy. We need to read this book. What's my husband doing? What's he not doing? Okay, are we on track? Are we not on track? Right? This can turn into full-blown anger because it never was yours in the first place, right? So in talking about resentment, doing for somebody else what they could be doing for themselves, this piece, the piece where they need to look at their part, to look at how they overrode their own integrity to break your trust, all of that, it was never yours. It was never yours. And many of you are willing to partner in that, like into being a friend. Like, yeah, let's talk through it. Let's talk about what might have happened and why you were seeking that validation and what from your childhood you've never dealt with and things like that. We can be perfectly willing to do that, right? The issue here, though, is when we take the lead as if I don't, it's not going to happen. If I don't, he won't. Okay? That's a very different energy. How many of you listening know exactly what I'm talking about? If I don't, he won't. So I have to. Ding, ding, ding. Resentment is born. I have to. Anytime we think we have to because nobody else will, that's a problem. Okay, it's a problem. And it can turn into full-blown anger. Why is this piece holding you back? This piece is holding you back because you are carrying more than what is yours to carry. And there are new skills to learn here. There are new things to learn. One of the things that needs to happen is learning how to be a better advocate for yourself in a way that is effective, in a way that brings about change. Part of this is taking a step back and seeing, is this person going to take the lead? Or is this what I'm signing up for the rest of my life, being with this person, that I have to take the lead? Because I promise you, in the long run, this is not going to work well for you. If this is the dynamic, that in order to heal this marriage, it's on me to ride his butt, right? To make sure that he's doing the things that he says he's doing. That is not sustainable. It will not last in the long term. You will burn out. The anger will consume you. It's not what you want. Just listen to me when I say that's not what we want. That's not what we're going for here. Okay? This is where anger can be very detrimental. Well, on the surface, the anger can be telling. It can tell you this is what you need to pay attention to. It feels like anger. It's resentment. You're so resentful that you're in this position. And then it can be educational. Only if we do something with it, though, right? We have to do something about it. And otherwise, it can just turn into this poison that we're consuming every single day, rather than becoming the person that recognizes the problem. Like, I am doing way more than what's mine. I'm getting madder and madder every day, more and more bitter. And what's going to become of me, and what's going to become of this relationship if this continues? And then you learn to do something different, okay? That's where it can be useful. Where it can really hurt you is if you notice it, if you keep feeling that anger and keep holding that job of controlling it, managing it, where things go, how you connect, all of that, taking on more than is yours. That's where it becomes a big problem. And you continue to feel angry. And ultimately, where does this lead you? To more suffering, more pain. That's where it leads. All right. Now, I want to talk about another area where I see anger really holding people back. Often when people first start my program, when they first come into my world, and you may totally resonate with this, I think most of you will, okay? There's this part of you that really wants to be the victim. You feel like a victim, like, I did not do this, he did this, he blew up my life. I feel terrible most of the time, and I have to speak to my male listeners too. I have male listeners on here that feel very much the same, like, she blew up my life. It blew up my life. My confidence is so shaken. I'm so afraid. I'm so miserable, right? All of those things, right? Now, most of the time when people come into my space, they feel wronged, they feel victimized, and they want to feel better in theory. Like, in theory, they want to feel better. In theory, they want to get their life back. Like, yeah, it sounds great. But there's this part of them that is so angry and so bitter and so pissed and so, like, it really bruised their ego. Like, how dare you? That it feels very threatening to let go of the anger. They feel very justified in holding on to the anger. They feel very, like, it helps them feel safer. Like, if I just keep up this wall of anger, I'm not going to get as hurt as if I let it down. And here's where the problem is. The problem is we don't get down to the healing, the restoring, the softening, the connection, all of those things. We do not get into those things when there's an outer layer of anger. We cannot reach them. So I recently was coaching a client who told me that they're just so mad that it happened and so embarrassed by it all, that she said that I'm so angry and I know that it's keeping me stuck, but I don't want to let go of it because I'm afraid of what will happen if I do. How many of you relate? And through that coaching, what this client left with is that really seeing what happens if I don't let go of this. What happens if I carry this? You don't have a shot. Okay, if there's a shot of like restoring this relationship, it's not going to happen as long as you are gripping anger. As long as you're gripping, you hurt me, and really using that to lead yourself forward. That is not going to get you where you want to go. It just won't. Ultimately, what we all want and need is connection. We all need it. We all do. And we can't have that connection when we have a wall of anger right there. It will not happen. So if there's a shot of coming together, of softening into something bigger than you ever had before, that wall has to come down. Also, sometimes the answer is to leave. And sometimes that anger can be useful to get that job done. Okay? I remember when I was leaving my first marriage, when I would start to feel guilty or worry about my kids or things like that, it really helped me to go back to the actual data of the situation and let myself feel angry about it, because it kind of gave me the momentum to continue moving forward. Like, oh yeah, I do not want this. Oh yeah, this thing has not changed in this many years. It's gotten worse. Like that kind of thing, where I could bring myself back to the actual facts. Like, this is what he is showing me day in, day out. This is who he's being. I do not choose that. And I was able to use some of that strong emotion of remembering the actual facts to move forward, to lead myself forward, right? It was useful until it was not. Sometimes that's the way it is with anger. It's useful until it is no longer useful. All right, so for you, listeners, is it still useful? Often, anger is a cover for fear. If I drop this anger, what will I have to feel? Rejection, grief, fear, right? All of these things. I may also have to feel love. I may have to feel grief. I may have to lean in to letting him in. I may have to lean into compassion, into deep understanding. Okay? Sometimes the anger is there because we're afraid to go deeper. We're afraid of making ourselves vulnerable to getting hurt again. But please listen to me when I say you are continuing to hurt yourself over and over again by choosing not to. You are keeping yourself from the best things in life, whether with the person you're with or someone else entirely. You are keeping yourself from your own joy. And that is what I do not want for you. Now, when I talked with this particular client about her situation, she said something interesting right on the group call. She said, I have avoided looking at any of your content in the program because I know that I'll have to do something different. And there's something that keeps me wanting to be angry, keeps me wanting to be reminded that you hurt me. And she came to this call because she's recognizing that it's no longer working for her, that in order for her to really heal, she needs to go deeper. So that is my invitation to you listeners. Check in with your anger. Is it actually serving you? Is it letting you know if there's a boundary violation that needs to be repaired or better held up? Not repaired necessarily, but a boundary that needs to be cleaned up. Okay? Sometimes it's teaching people how to treat you. You first treating yourself with utmost respect and then teaching other people to do the same. Is it that? Is it a mask for fear? Is it a cover for other emotions that you don't want to recognize and see? That you don't want to feel in their full force? And so anger is a nice little shield. Is it serving you or is it holding you back? When you are ready to let go of this anger, to go deeper and to feel new things that are actually going to keep you moving forward, I invite you to come into my space. It's the work we do. We start by really going into the emotional pain of all of it and learning some tools and skills that are going to help you to calibrate, to metabolize some of that pain, to not be so afraid of it, because you'll have tools in your back pocket that are going to help you deal with them. Somatic practices that help you right away to feel safe, that are just right there in my program. And then when we learn to create more safety within our body, it's time to move into the space in my program where you are facing the truth, where you are really looking at your situation, where you are getting better at collecting the data, really seeing what you need to see so that you can move forward, so you can drop the anger, so you can really be at peace, because you know that you have full awareness of everything. You're seeing it all in broad daylight. It doesn't mean you have to like it. But there's a lot of peace in simply knowing that you are not afraid of looking at it, that you've got you. That's so powerful. If this resonates, I invite you to apply to be in my program. Applications are open. It is in the show notes of this podcast episode. We have an amazing group where we meet every week. There's a few calls a week. I coach on 2 of the 3. Beth, who works in my team, is amazing and well loved, and she coaches that 3rd call. We will help you with all of this. All right, my friends, check in with your anger. Is it working for you? Is it holding you back? And what do you want to do about it? You have the power within you today to decide to turn that anger into action. What would that look like? Would it look like a stronger boundary? Would it look like collaborating on what's working for you, what's not working for you, and handing some of that over? Saying, this is no longer mine. I'm going to give it to you. The thing is, if you're in that camp of caring too much, of being over responsible for his recovery, you will never see how much he's willing to do, will you? And I know there's fear in that. Like, if I don't do it, then he's not going to, and then what? And then I might have to get divorced, or whatever the story is that you're telling. I'd rather you see the truth in that than to overfunction and be in a marriage where you know that it's not balanced. Okay? We're playing the long game here. You need to see who you're with. All right, my friends, I will see you again on the next episode. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.